Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Wednesday, March 5th, 2014. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. We're going to start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You'll see that the futures are trading higher, actually, by about a half a point to 1872 per contract. Now, yesterday the market had that big soaring up day. So, generally after a big up day like that, the next day is somewhat more of a flat, slightly positive day, maybe even a little bit of a retrace to the downside type day. So I don't think traders should look for all that much upside today in the market. But hey, you never know. The markets are somewhat euphoric. Earlier today, we did get the ADP job report. Again, I don't think the number was all that terrific, but nonetheless, it showed 139,000 jobs in the month of February that were created, private sector jobs. They revised the prior month's lower to a lower number. So I'm not sure we can make too much out of it. Obviously, the spin doctors out there will talk about weather. It's always weather. But either way, 139,000 jobs. I guess it's somewhat in line with what the market is expecting. So we're not going to make much out of that. I don't think the job number is even that big a deal these days anymore either. A lot of traders will be looking for the Friday job number coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's the U.S. government, and we'll see what their report says. But again, watch the dollar-yen. That's going to tell you whether the market goes up or down. If the dollar-yen starts to rally when the market opens up, then the stock market will rally. If the dollar-yen starts to taper off and pull back in, then the spiders will taper off, or the S&P will taper off and pull back in. That's really the driving force behind the market right now. All that economic data really is just hogwash. The market could care less about it in real terms. All right, let's get into some stocks here that are making some moves today. First one I'm seeing here is Smith & Wesson. SWHC is the ticker symbol. You'll see the stock closed at $11.80, trading around $12.87. Did go as high as $13.20. This stock has pretty good strength. It is a strong gap up today. The one level I would watch right now for the stock would be around $14. Gets to around 14, that's where the stock probably starts to pull back. It might be $13.94, could be $14.05, but right around that 14 level, give or take, 10 cents. That's where Smith & Wesson should hit a wall of resistance. But nonetheless, it's a good move today for the stock, at least before the opening bell. But watch for Smith & Wesson to stall out right around that $14 level. In sympathy to Smith & Wesson, you want to watch Ruger today. RGR is another gun maker, and this is the symbol. The stock's got a pretty good little move higher. Right now, trading at 64.05. There will be some resistance on this one at 66.50. So keep that on the radar. 66.50 for Ruger. There will be resistance there, and there'll be much more resistance if the stock could get back up to $70. But I don't expect to see that. But 66.50, if the stock rallies, that would be pretty good resistance level intraday for a quick scalp. Let's take a look at Canadian Solar, CSIQ. I believe they had earnings. I'm not sure what the earnings are. We really don't even care about the earnings. We just care about the market move. I will have some gap levels for Canadian Solar. I do think this one's going to probably head a little bit lower, but I will have some gap levels. They'll be posted up in the chat room at 9 o'clock with this stock. Let's take a look at PetSmart, PETM. Stock is catching a pretty nice bid. Do not chase this higher. Okay, PetSmart should stall out probably around the $69 level. It did trade as high as $69.50. So I guess there's a chance that the stock could get to $69.50, $69.75. But around that area, it should die on the vine. There should really be very little upside on PetSmart today. So once it gets to $69, start looking for this thing to really stall out if it gets back up there. And if it's $69.75, if you want to take a short position on a scalp trade, scalp is just a quick day trade. Remember, for about 10 to 30 minutes, there could be a play there again at $69.75 short scalp. Let's take a look at NAV. I believe this stock also reported earnings. This is not a big gap lower, but nonetheless it is gapping down. I really don't see any strength in this equity today, so be very careful. There'll be a little bit of short-term support around $32. Maybe it's a little bit lower, excuse me, around 31.85, 31.88. There'll be some short-term support. But really, outside of that, it's a pretty weak stock, so it could sell off a little bit further. I think traders want to be a little bit on guard with this one. NAV sometimes has a tendency to be a big mover, but watch the 31.80 to 31.50. That's probably where there's going to be support. If you want to try to scalp it, it would be around 31.85. But again, you got to be a little bit careful with this one. You got to watch that pattern if it does get down there. Other than that, I don't really see a lot there for support in between. This stock can come down pretty quickly, and right now it's trading at 36 bucks. But I'm not sure. There's no volume here, so maybe it starts out a little bit higher. But it is definitely worth keeping on the radar today. Next one I wanted to look at here is ticker symbol BEAM. Okay, and I believe this is a spirits maker. Forget it. We're really not seeing much here. I think this is a takeover, so we're going to leave this one alone. Leave that one alone. We're not going to do much with that. Let's move over to the gold market right now. Gold is trading down about $1. Gold did sell off yesterday pretty sharply. We're going to take a look at the GLD at the moment. GLD is a good proxy for gold futures. GLD yesterday closed at 128.68. Today it is trading at 128.86, so it's up a little bit here, but spot gold is down about $1. I think gold is just going to stay in somewhat of a range here for the time being, unless the dollar yen really starts to move lower. If that happens, then gold could take off to the upside, so keep that dollar yen on your chart. But right now I don't see anything really wrong with gold. It's just consolidating its recent gains, and this is a sign that gold will want to move higher in the future. Let's look at oil this morning. Light sweet crude is trading lower by 41 cents to 102.92 a barrel. Let's take a look at the USO, which is a good proxy, good way to trade light sweet crude. And what you'll see here is that it's trading today at around 36.91. Again, I think this is looking similar to gold, where it's just consolidating for the most part. Today, Russia did skip a meeting in Paris regarding the Ukraine. So again, Russia skipping that meeting in the Ukraine could affect European oil prices or Brent prices. Also could affect natural gas prices in Europe as well. So that is worth keeping an eye on. Problems over there could continue in the future, even though everything seems like there's no problems and things are all solved. Russia missing this meeting today is just playing a cat and mouse game. And believe me, the crisis over there is not over in the Ukraine by a long shot. So that's what we're looking at this morning. We'll see how it all shakes out and plays out. We'll see what this market tells us a little bit later. Right now, futures are just up 1/4 point, and we'll see where they go today. But overall, expect a flat, maybe even a small retrace today. I would not rule that out. With that said, everybody have a great trading day, and we will see you a little bit later on the charts.